Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tausif, and I'm starting a new live stream. I wish you all a very good morning. This is March the 5th, and the time right now is 6:42 a.m. Um, Foggy Thursday. I was looking outside and saw that it's gloomy and foggy, but that's all right. I think every day is a blessing, which I have said before a number of times. So you wake up in the morning and it's an opportunity to do something good in this world. So, my friends, the first thing I'm doing today is this live stream, and that's because I wanted to do one last night, but was not able to. Was very busy last night. Yesterday evening, I had a very busy uh, um, evening, and so I thought, well, I'll just do a live stream in the morning. My friends, there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to talk about. What happened in Texas. It's very interesting. As you know, that there was a primary, a Democrat primary, a Republican primary, and there was a big shocker because in the Democrat primary we saw that Jasmine Crockett, a sitting congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett, was defeated by James Talarico, who is a state legislator. And who is Congressman Jasmine Crockett? She is what you might say a member of the far left. The Democrat Party is really split right now. The Democrat Party, they have maybe a few moderates. They have like the mainstream Democrats, and they have a growing far left. By the way, if you are tuning in, please subscribe, stay connected, and introduce yourself in the live chat. I see Bree is here. Hello, Bree. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here, Bree. All right, my friends, those who are tuning in, subscribe and join the conversation. So, Jasmine Crockett is part of the far left. And it seemed that she was very confident. Give me a second here. It seemed that she was very confident that she would win. But now we know that she lost. I think she was overconfident. That is my assessment. It's good to be confident, but it's not good to be overconfident, especially in politics, especially when you are a Democrat candidate running for a statewide office in a state like Texas. It's not a good idea to be overconfident. And it seems to me that Jasmine Crockett was overconfident. She felt overconfident. And I think a lot of her supporters felt the same way. They probably thought that, oh, Jasmine's going to win. Oh, there's no way that Jasmine's going to lose. She's going to win. She already has the victory. It's just a matter of time that the victory will be announced officially. She's got it. She's going to win. She's going to win this Democrat primary. Guess what? Jasmine Crockett lost. All those who thought that she cannot lose, well, you're wrong. Jasmine Crockett lost. And we're not talking about the general election. We're talking about just the Democrat primary. Just the Democrat primary. And she thought maybe that she's a sitting congresswoman, and in the primary, her opponent is a state legislator. She probably thought that she has a higher profile, more name recognition. She has said things that put her in national limelight. A lot of people from the far left praised her. A lot of people common sense people, they criticized her. But in any case, she got a lot of attention in recent years. Obviously, she has not been in the House for too long. But in the last couple of years, she got a lot of public attention, which many thought put her in a position to dominate this Democrat primary. But now we know the reality. Now we know the reality that Jasmine Crockett lost to a state legislator, a person who doesn't have the kind of national profile that you might say Jasmine Crockett does. James Talarico. He won and Crockett lost. This was a massive loss for a sitting Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett, in a Democrat primary. She lost to James Talarico. My friends, think about it. Think about all the publicity Jasmine received in the last, as I said, few years, but really in the last few months. And here's when things went wrong. She is part of the far left. She presented herself as a far left option. And some people thought that the far left position would work for a statewide campaign in a state like Texas, but obviously it did not work. Talarico is now the winner. Jasmine Crockett, probably shocked, disappointed clearly, not happy clearly, but she's probably shocked. Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman, she called herself, as she was running for Senate, running in this Democrat primary, she called herself Texas tough. But clearly her campaign was not tough enough. She called herself Texas tough, but her campaign was not tough enough, which is why she ended up losing. Jasmine Crockett, I'm just going to give you a few policy positions that she has, and you can judge. You can be the judge. Jasmine Crockett supports the idea of forcing ICE agents to take off their masks. As the ICE agents are out there, they are putting their own lives at risk to go out and catch criminal aliens. This is dangerous work. Takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of training and skills. And no matter how much trained they are, when the ICE agents are out there in a dangerous situation, when they're out there trying to apprehend a criminal alien, there are so many unknown variables. It's very risky to do these jobs. And that's why I always thank the ICE agents for what they do. I always thank the federal agents, the Border Patrol agents, and others. I thank them for what they do. By catching the criminal aliens, they are making America safe again. And what Jasmine Crockett supports, she supports forcing these brave ICE agents to take off their masks. She supports stopping funding for ICE. I see Claudette is over here. Claudette, thank you for being here. Claudette does not agree with my viewpoints a whole lot. I understand that. But thanks for being here, Claudette. And Claudette, you're saying that I'm not talking about the Middle East. Claudette, are you aware of the fact that in my previous live streams I've talked about the Middle East? Are you aware of that? Now, right now, I may be talking about the Texas Senate race because that's a topic that needs to be discussed. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk about the Middle East. It doesn't mean that I did not talk about the Middle East, which I did. You have to go and look at my channel, look at the history, look at my recent videos. I've been talking about the Middle East. Go look. I have been talking about the Middle East. And I will do it again. But we also have to talk about the Texas Senate race. Not just the Senate race in Texas. We have to talk about the different statewide races taking place in different parts of the country. I'm going to be talking about important gubernatorial races. I'm going to be talking about key Senate races. Because it's our goal, as I've said before, 1,000,000 times probably or more, that this channel is about social and political issues, domestic and international. So yes, I'm going to be talking about Middle East again, but I'm going to also be talking about domestic matters, like the Senate race in Texas. Lawrence is here. Lawrence, good to see you. You know, when you're watching the news, you turn on the news, they show you news of the Middle East. Probably most of the news that you're going to get nowadays over the course of a 24-hour period is going to be about the Middle East, because that's a big topic. That's the biggest topic right now on this planet. But then throughout the day, you are going to see other news. You are going to see news about different things happening around the country. And then back again to the topic of Middle East. So yes, I will talk about the Middle East again. Just be patient, Claudette. Just be patient. The first thing I did this morning, other than starting this live stream, is turn on the television so that I could catch the updates pertaining to whatever is happening in the Middle East. Okay? So just be patient, Claudette. I understand you don't like my viewpoints most of the time. I can draw that conclusion from previous interactions that we've had in the live chat, but I hope that you will be patient and watch the previous live streams on the Middle East and then wait for the new ones. Thank you for being here. So as I was saying, Jasmine Crockett supports the idea of forcing ICE to take off masks. She supports the idea of forcing ICE agents to take off their masks. She wants to stop funding for ICE. And clearly, that viewpoint did not help her win the primary. She lost. Also, Jasmine Crockett supports reproductive freedom. Okay, it's a very clever use of words. Reproductive freedom. What do you understand when someone says, "Oh, I support reproductive freedom, reproductive justice"? What does that even mean? It means she supports abortion. She supports abortion. She can call it reproductive freedom or whatever she wants to call it, but she supports abortion. And in Texas, that did not help. In a state like Texas, that position did not help her win. Maybe that's the reason why she got rejected by the people of Texas. Even, like, we're not talking about everyone in Texas. This is the Democrat primary. She was rejected by people from her own, voter base, the Democrats. When you hear reproductive freedom, what do you understand? Because we know from following politics in other parts of the country, there are Democrats who support unrestricted abortion. There are Democrats who do not want any kind of restriction on abortion. In Texas, it's not going to work. Texas is a very different state. Texas, the people of Texas will reject a position by a politician where the politician supports abortion. My friends, people have asked me, Tassif, where do you stand on the issue? And I just say one thing. I am pro-life. I am pro-life. Pro-life. Let me know your thoughts. Bree is saying pro-life. Who else is here who's pro-life? That's my position. For anyone who has that question for me, Tassif, where do you stand on this issue of abortion? Lawrence is saying pro-life. Bree is saying pro-life. That's exactly my position. I'm pro-life. And that should explain it all. That should explain to you what my viewpoints are on this. My friends, when the people of Texas want coal, oil, and gas, Jasmine Crockett has expressed support for expanding green energy. And we know what that means, green energy. We know what that means. Those wind turbines that you see in the beautiful American countryside, destroying American farmland. Wind turbines. Green energy, they call it. And there's more. That's not the only kind. There are wind turbines. There are all these solar panels and so on and so forth. But more than the solar panels, those wind turbines, those are very, very problematic. Solar panels are, should not be in the farmland area. If you want to put a solar panel, on your own property, on the roof of your house or something, that's all right. But we see solar panels being installed in places where crops should be growing. There should be crops, beautiful farms where crops should be growing. But instead, people use land to put up solar panels. If you don't believe what I'm saying, you got to visit Wisconsin. Go to Wisconsin, come to Wisconsin, and you'll find places where solar panels are being put in rural areas. Yeah, all you have to do, if you don't want to visit Wisconsin, is a little bit of search. Solar panels. Go ahead, take a look. Do a search, and you'll see that solar panels are being installed in rural areas. Bree has seen them. Bree is saying, yes, I've seen them. Anyway, I'm not going to focus too much on that topic. My whole point is that when the people of Texas want coal, oil, and gas, Jasmine Crockett supports expanding green energy, which means more of these solar panels destroying American farmland, more of these wind turbines destroying American farmland. You know what that means. My friends, the political far left has lost in Texas. The political far left thought that they had the momentum, but that's clearly not the case. And that's why Jasmine Crockett could not win this Democrat primary. James Tallarico, he got Also a Democrat. Also a Democrat. And I hope Tallarico loses in the general election. Let me say that up front. I hope Tallarico loses in the general election in Texas. I hope Tallarico does not win the Senate race. But in the Democrat primary, clearly Tallarico got more than 1.2 million votes, and Jasmine Crockett got less than 1.1 million votes. According to the latest results, I think with 98% of the votes counted. Howard is here. Hello, Howard. Good to see you. It's good to see um, people joining the live chat. Thank you for being here. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. My friends, Tallarico got more than 1.2 million votes. Jasmine Crockett got less than 1.1 million votes with 98% of the votes counted. These are the latest results. Clearly, she lost. My friends, in politics, as I've said before many times, nothing can be taken for granted. And some people took it for granted that Jasmine Crockett would win. Clearly, she lost. There's no confusion about it. She lost. Her strategy did not work. Her talking points did not work. Whatever approach she had in this campaign did not work. Air Force families writing, hope you've been well, Tosif. I have been doing okay. With so much going on in the world, obviously, a lot of people are worried. And hold on a second. Okay. By the way, that's Brian, right? From Pennsylvania. Brian, just want to clarify that. That's Brian, right? Would you, if I see a familiar name pop up after a long time, maybe the screen name has changed a little bit. Just want to verify this is Brian, right? From Pennsylvania. All right, Brian says yes. All right, Brian. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Brian, personally I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm fine. I mean, you wake up every day and every day is a blessing. It's an opportunity to do something good in this world. And so I'm doing okay, but I'm worried about the people in the Middle East. Many US citizens in the Middle East facing tremendous challenges. A lot of people, because I've been watching TV, I've been following the news. A lot of people went to the Middle East on vacation. They went there for work, and the Gulf states are very, very safe. Very safe. People go there all the time. Americans go there all the time. There are so many Americans there. It's beautiful, the Gulf states, and people went there not realizing that there could be any risks. And things changed in a matter of 24 hours, 48 hours. And so there are many Americans and people from other parts of the world who are visiting the Middle East, and they're stuck over there, not finding a way to return home, and just in a very difficult situation. You understand that, with all the conflict going on there. So I'm worried about people. I hope that everyone's going to be home safe. I hope everyone stays safe. I hope that people get access to the services that they need. Um, if somebody is visiting the Middle East on a 7-day trip and now they are stuck and they don't know how they're going to get back home, that's pretty difficult. It's pretty challenging. And so I hope that things will get better soon. So I'm following all the news, all the updates. I'm listening to what our president is saying, And the State Department, I know, is working hard to get people back home safely. So let's just keep the people affected in our prayers. Um, okay, so as I was saying, in politics, nothing can be taken for granted. And those who took it for granted that Jasmine Crockett would win, well, clearly she lost. There's no confusion about it. She lost. She lost her campaign, her strategy, whatever she was doing to win this election did not work. And this should be a message for all those who are part of the far left. The far left can make a lot of noise, but the far left cannot have a sustained series of victories, victory after victory after victory. No, they can't. I mean, Texas is not New York. Texas is not Chicago. Texas is not Seattle. Texas is not Portland. Texas is not Denver. So in Texas, the same political equation is not going to work. The equation that works in Chicago or Seattle or New York City is not going to work in Texas. And that's why we are seeing this, we're seeing these results. James Tallarico defeated far-left Jasmine Crockett. Now, my friends, I do want to talk about the Republican side also. There was a Republican primary. There were three people running, three names that were being mentioned. Incumbent John Cornyn, incumbent U.S. Senator. Challenger Ken Paxton, Attorney General. And then Congressman Wesley Hunt, running on the Republican side, trying to win the nomination. Wesley Hunt ranked third. Wesley Hunt ranked third and was eliminated from the Senate race. The top two vote getters advanced to a runoff that's going to take place. I think it's in May. When is the Texas Senate runoff? Texas Senate runoff. It's in May. Texas Senate runoff. It's in May. So John Cornyn and Ken Paxton advanced to the Texas Senate runoff in May. And among the two candidates, John Cornyn received more than 900,000 votes. Ken Paxton is a little bit behind, but not too much, right around 880,000 votes. So John Cornyn received 41.9% of the votes. Ken Paxton got 40.7% of the votes. So it's very close. And the question now is, in the runoff, how will the Wesley Hunt supporters vote? Because those who voted for Wesley Hunt, they now know that Wesley Hunt could not secure a rank in the top two. He was number 3, so got eliminated from the race. He's no longer in the U.S. Senate race. So now, all those people who voted for Wesley Hunt, how are they going to vote? Are they going to vote for John Cornyn? Are they going to vote for Ken Paxton? We don't know that. So going forward, all the polls, all the studies, and the surveys are going to hopefully give us some indication about how the Wesley Hunt voters are going to vote. Ideally, there should have been a clear winner with 50% of the votes so that the Republicans would know who their candidate is. But we're still stuck in an uncertain situation, not knowing who the Republican Senate candidate, like the nominee is. Is it John Cornyn? Is it Ken Paxton? We don't know yet. So we will have to wait until May to find out. And in the meantime, the two Republican candidates will be campaigning against each other, while Democrat James Tallarico is free to continue campaigning against the Republicans. So that's the difficult situation that we are in, that we don't have, we the Republicans, we don't have a clear winner. And so we're going to have two candidates still fighting against each other in this race. Well, the Democrats have their clear winner, James Tallarico. So this gives the Democrats some advantage. The Republicans will compete against each other because there's still no GOP nominee for Senate. Now, there's a big role for President Donald Trump to play in this election. Can you tell me what that is? Can you tell me what that is? I'm going to pause for a little bit. Give me a second here. By the way, those who are watching, my friends, please subscribe if you have not done so yet. All right. So as I was saying, there's a big role for President Donald Trump to play in this Texas Senate race. Donald Trump should make an endorsement. That is what I think should happen next. He should make an endorsement between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. I mean, this fight, this political fight is going to go on for a few more months. This is the first week of March. The runoff is in May. So it's going to be 2 more months of this heated race leading to the runoff. So our president can play a big role. He should make an endorsement and encourage the person that he is not endorsing, encourage that person to drop out of the race. And in fact, President Trump did mention, let me read that to you. President Trump did mention on Truth Social, he said, the Republican primary race for the United States Senate in the great state of Texas, a state I love and won 3 times in record numbers, the highest vote ever recorded by far, cannot, for the good of the party and our country itself, be allowed to go on any longer. So he's basically saying that the Republican primary race cannot be allowed to go on any longer. It must stop now. We have an easy to beat radical left opponent, and we have to totally focus on putting him away quickly and decisively. It's meaning defeating James Tallarico in this race. President Trump says both John and Ken ran great races, but not good enough. Now this one must be perfect. My endorsements within the Republican Party have been virtually insurmountable. It is such an honor to realize and say that almost everyone I endorse wins, and wins by a lot, especially in Texas. I will be making my endorsement soon, and will be asking the candidate that I don't endorse to immediately drop out of the race. Is that fair? We must win in November. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So, what President Trump is basically saying is this. It's important to defeat James Tallarico. And for that, this Republican primary, this Republican fight within the same party cannot be allowed to go on. So President Trump is going to make an endorsement between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton, and whoever he does not endorse should drop out of the race immediately. Because John Cornyn and Ken Paxton have both run great races, but clearly not great enough because no one has been able to reach that 50% vote threshold. which is why we're going to see this runoff. So to avoid the runoff, to avoid this fight within the Republican Party, Donald Trump is going to make an endorsement. He's either going to choose John Cornyn, incumbent, or Ken Paxton, and whoever he does not endorse should drop out so that the Republican nominee can focus on defeating James Tallarico rather than having to worry about a runoff. He asked the question, is that fair? I'll let you answer. I think President Trump's proposal is quite fair. He is doing it for the good of the party. He is doing it to ensure that the Republicans hold on to the U.S. Senate, the majority. So now I'm eagerly going to wait. I'm eagerly going to wait for the endorsement to see what President Trump does, who he is going to endorse. You can share with me your thoughts on this. So my friends, going forward, we're going to be watching closely the Senate race in Texas. This is extremely important because it's going to help. If we win the Senate race in Texas, it's going to help us the Republicans. It's going to help us maintain the majority in the Senate. So Edwin, good to see you. So we're going to wait and see what happens. You share with me your thoughts, stay connected, and I'm going to be back again very soon with more videos and more live streams. So I'm going to wrap this one up now, but stay connected with me so that we can continue with our discussion. So thank you all so very much. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies, and may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. Thank you, my friends, and I'm going to see you very soon. Thanks.